I'm Tracy with MeatRx, and we're here with a success story today. We have Patrick with us. Hi, Patrick.
Hi, Tracy. Thank you.
Thank you for coming. And I would like to start out and hear your story by asking, what did you do before carnivore and what were your health conditions?
All right. Before carnivore, it was mainly SAD. Like I was on a SAD diet mainly all the way up until about 2015. And one of the buddies I worked with, he was really into fitness, and he had basically coached me in a whole foods kind of plant-based diet. I still ate meat, but it was majority plants, right? And he also was big on like what they call whole grains. I know now that there's no such thing as whole grains, but anyway, you know, brown rice, quinoa, things like that, right? Mm-hmm. I tried doing that for a while counting calories, and the biggest problem with that is, I guess, with the carbohydrates and everything, I still couldn't kick my bad habits, such as Mountain Dew and Monster, like the full sugar energy drinks.
Yeah.
And over time, like I just didn't get better. I wasn't losing weight, and I was dealing with some injuries. So then March 23rd of 2018, I adopted Carnivore. I heard Dr. Baker 2 days before that. Was kind of intrigued. He said one thing that just I could not get out of my mind. He said there's no such thing as an essential carbohydrate. Mm-hmm. So after, you know, just spending every free second that I had looking into nutrition and everything in those 2 days, I went to the doctor on that 23rd, and I was heavier than I'd ever been, between 190, 200 pounds. And I knew I had to change something. So I decided to adopt it, and I haven't looked back.
Wow, that's really great. So when you decided to adopt it, how did you begin implementing it? And did you have any difficulties implementing the diet?
No, I actually, that's one of the strange things. I hear a lot of people talking about keto flu and different problems adjusting and things like that. I actually had no issues. Let's see here. The way that I adopted it was, that day I went home, and my wife is Filipino, and she was cooking a dish called afritada. And I just told her, pull out only the meat from that dish, and I'm only going to eat the meat, right? The strange thing is I never had an appetite. Never. I was always bloated, and I felt horrible. So when I did that, strangely enough, later that night, I was starving. I was hungry again. So that was the first improvement that I noticed immediately. So we cooked up a bunch of hamburger and eggs and bacon, and I ate a bunch that night. The very next day, I had also been dealing chronically for like 2 years, been dealing with GERD. That next morning, I woke up and it was gone, and I was actually hungry again. So
That's awesome.
I was going on vacation that day too. So before we left, we went and got Philly cheesesteak first thing in the morning. So I took the bun off. I ate only the meat and cheese. And I mean, I hadn't had that kind of satisfaction from a meal in forever. It was immediate gratification for me.
very satiating. It's also very minimalist diet. I hated counting calories. I don't know about you, but counting calories or counting carbs or all that kind of stuff. It's very time consuming, and I just didn't like putting food in my mouth and have to count every bite I took, so I think
Yeah, when I did that in like 2015, 2016, I can't remember the exact time. It was terrible. It was terrible, and I felt not even exhausted. It was just lethargic. Just didn't want to do anything. Didn't get any satisfaction out of doing anything. Like, it was weird. And this was total night and day. And like you said, minimalistic. I don't have to count calories, don't have to count macros. I eat meat, drink water, and salt to taste. Right.
right,
So,
very simple. So how did the carnivore diet help your conditions, and how long did it take for this to happen?
okay. So a few different things that I had been dealing with. In 2014, I got diagnosed with diverticulitis. And I had a couple flare-ups from that over the years as well. And then I also had this is kind of difficult because some doctors will say it was Osgood-Schlatters disease, which is a disease of the patellar tendon. And then some of them say, no, there's no way you could have a chronic Osgood-Schlatters disease at your age. It was chronic tendonitis. Either way, those were the two main conditions, along with, like I said, my bloating. And I had something wrong with I don't think it was my stomach. I think it was my abdominal muscles. They never really diagnosed it. They sent me to a neurologist, and the neurologist thought it was neurological, one of the nerves running under my ribs causing spasming and stuff like that. But and the GERD that I already talked about, right? So the GERD, it was immediate relief. That was phenomenal, because it was getting worse and worse and worse, getting to the point where I was sleeping at night in my recliner because when I lay down, I was wanting to throw up. But yeah. The diverticulitis, I haven't had any problems since adopting this diet at all. Let's see here. And my knee, I would say it was immediate as well, because like I said, that day I went on vacation. I drove 10 hours that day. Normally, if I'm stuck in a vehicle that long, when I get out, my knee is killing me. It's stiff and inflamed and just ridiculously painful. But that day, when I got to my destination and I got out of my vehicle, I didn't have any pain. It wasn't weak. It wasn't inflamed. It felt 100%. So I won't say that it's 100% healed right now. But what I can say also is, for my job, physical performance is part of my job, right? I'm in the Army and I have to take an Army physical fitness test. So up until I adopted this way of eating, since 2013, I hadn't been able to run 2 miles, which is part of our physical fitness test. I would do a walk. That's an alternate event that we can do for the test, right? But after adopting this way of eating, I was able to run and pass my 2 mile on my Army physical fitness test. So completely changed my life, completely changed my health, and it's been one of the best decisions, other than marrying my wife, that I've ever made.
Wow, that's saying a lot. But it seems you've been at it for 2 years. That kind of tells the story too. You're young, and that's so good that you have gotten into carnivore at a young age. It will help you
Yeah,
through your whole life. So,
it's it's been amazing. It's I mean, I perform better at work. I I can play and run and roughhouse and everything with my sons. I have two sons. You know, it's just it's night and day. It's one of the best decisions I've ever made.
okay. Well, can you tell me what you eat in a typical day?
Yeah. So what I usually do, and a lot of people are gonna hate me for this, but I will grill on the weekend. So like yesterday, I grilled 3 ribeyes, 8 hamburgers, 5 brats, and a few hot dogs. Now I don't eat the hot dogs, but I'll eat the brats, the hamburgers, and the ribeyes, right? So usually I'll eat a ribeye or 2 hamburgers for lunch, and then I'll eat a ribeye or 2 hamburgers or a hamburger and 2 brats for dinner, something like that. Like those are my staples. Originally, though, when I started out, the staples were hamburger, bacon, eggs, and ribeye. I, Starting out, eggs and bacon were the best thing in the world.
Yeah.
Because like I said, when I started out, I all of a sudden had my appetite back and I was ravenous. So eggs and bacon were my saving grace. Since then, though, everything's mellowed out, and just a steak and a couple hamburgers or brats every day is good.
Oh, okay. So you didn't include dairy in any of your carnivore journey?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
If it's available, I do, but I don't buy a whole lot of cheese at the store. So, but I mean, if we go out to eat or something, instead of getting, like, let's say I hit a fast food restaurant, right? Instead of getting just the patties, I'll get cheeseburgers instead of regular burgers.
Oh, okay. Okay, that's really cool. Well, your story is amazing. I mean, have you noticed benefits into your second year? I mean, the first few months, of course, immediate. You notice benefits. Do you notice them as you're carrying on further?
Well, yeah. I've also quit smoking in the past 2 years. I don't remember when. It was after I started carnivore. I just don't remember when it was that I quit. But I think that actually helped me quit smoking as well, because with the mood stabilizing and all that stuff, it makes it a lot easier to not have to resort to smoking. And then also, even now, I'm still feeling more physical benefits, physical performance benefits, getting stronger. I'm able to run longer, all of that. So
Even as you're getting older, that's cool.
yeah, yeah.
Well, I guess you could say meat heals then.
Oh, definitely, yes.
Definitely.
Hashtag meat heals.
Yeah, that's true. Well, thank you, Patrick, for sharing your story. I really appreciate it. Are your family all eating carnivore with you?
No, my wife's Filipino, and she will not get away from rice. She probably will eventually. It's just for now she's staying with her traditional foods.
Okay, that sounds good. At least you're going to remain strong, and I'm
Yeah.
sure she will too. Well, thank you again for sharing your story, and we'll be talking to you soon.
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
Bye.